Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your November 2022 horoscope. My name is Cailin and today I'm going to be covering the major transits for November, and I'll be using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. You can watch this horoscope if you are a Scorpio rising, also known as ascendant, a Scorpio sun, or a Scorpio moon. Generally speaking, I do recommend that you start off with your rising sign, and that is because it seems to be the most accurate overall for most people, but of course, maybe you connect more with your sun or your moon, and that's why I say you should look at all three, because it'll give you a very well-rounded idea of what you can expect for the month ahead. So, first and foremost, let's have a look at Mars being retrograde. Mars is your ruling planet Scorpio, so you definitely will be feeling the retrograde energy. Mars will station retrograde at the end of October on the 30th or the 31st, depending where you live in the world, and it will be retrograde for 10 weeks until the 12th of January in 2023. Mars will be in Gemini altogether from the 20th of August, which means it entered Gemini a couple of months ago, and it will be there until the 25th of March in 2023. So this is a very long transit. Mars being in your 8th house indicates that this is a time for Scorpios to really be doing a deep dive, whether this is deeply researching a subject, getting very involved in astrology or something to do with the occult. And for many, many Scorpios, this will be a very pivotal time when it comes to working on releasing fears and insecurities and possibly addictions for some of you, not all of you, of course, but also the 8th house is connected to psychology. So it's all about understanding yourself at a deeper level. With Mars being the planet that rules you, so your chart ruler, wherever Mars goes and whatever Mars is doing, this indicates you and what you are doing. So when Mars goes retrograde in the 8th house, this indicates that there can be obstacles or challenges that relate to 8th house matters. So the 8th house rules over mutual resources. So this is connected to alimony money, child support, insurances, tax returns, taxes in general, inheritances, and wills. And also, this is connected to the ways in which you contribute to other people financially and vice versa. So, when Mars is retrograde, just generally speaking, the energy can be quite agitated and frustrated. So, as a sign that's ruled by Mars, you may just be going through this 10-week period feeling a little bit more irritable than normal, or you may just find that you have a short temper or a short fuse. So, with respect to your mutual resources, you can be pursuing these, you can be fighting for these, or maybe you're fighting to not have to contribute, your own resources to other people. So, maybe you don't want to pay as much child support money as what you have been, or maybe you are coming to a point in your life where you're like, I'm not going to pay alimony money if I don't have to. I'm going to fight for this, to make my own resources independent from another person's. On a different note, you could be going through the process of drawing up a will, or you may be receiving an inheritance, and maybe this is a lengthy process. Maybe it is involving more lawyers than you thought, or more legal work or paperwork than you thought, or maybe this is maybe it's harder for you to access this money. So there could be a process that you have to go through in order to receive your inheritance, and maybe you really have to fight for your right to do so. So obviously there are a few different ways that this can play out. Just remember that this is a general reading, so not all of this will apply to you. Now, on a different note, there may be some kind of delay in your significant other receiving their pay. So maybe this is affecting your own combined mutual resources, and also let's just say that you consistently pay child support money or alimony money, or you receive it. Maybe in this 10-week period there'll be an adjustment to the fee, or to the figure I should say, that is paid or received. Or perhaps let's say your former spouse, for example, says, hey, I'm not going to be able to pay for this month or for these couple of months, or can I get an extension? Or you might be the one who is seeking out an extension. So on a different level, the eighth house is connected to deep healing and therapy. So this is going to see many Scorpios being assertive when it comes to their psychological health, or when it comes to healing, whether this is on an emotional level or on a physical level. The eighth house rules over healing of all kinds. So this can see you working with a psychologist or with a psychiatrist. Now, you could be having a lot of intensive sessions during this period of time. Maybe you're trying some sort of different form or modality of healing. And for some of you, you could be returning to a psychologist or returning to see your psychiatrist. Maybe you're going back to a different type of healer and ramping up the intensity of those sessions. So for some of you, you could be doing some really deep research. And I say this because the eighth house is connected to deep research, and wherever Mars goes, whatever Mars is doing, this represents you and what you are doing. So with Mars ruling over your sixth house as well as your first house, this could see you researching something to do with your work. Maybe your line of work requires you to work in secret, or you're working on a highly confidential matter. Maybe you're doing an investigation into your health and researching which doctors or healers or surgeon you want to proceed with for a health matter. For some of you, because the eighth house is connected to addictions and fears, this can see you doing everything that you can to overcome a fear or overcome an addiction. Now, this is a bit of a trigger warning for you guys. This could be a time where you feel very tested when it comes to an addiction. Okay, so if you've been sober, or if you have abstained from something for quite a while and you've been doing really good at it, doing really well in that department, first of all, that's amazing. Congratulations. This trigger warning, if you will, is to say that you may feel that you're a bit more tempted during this period of time, or temptations may arise. So just know that if you're, going to certain events or parties, you may find yourself in a situation where you're having to really use all of your willpower to say no. Now, again, this is a general reading, so this won't resonate for everyone. Mars retrograde in your eighth house does not mean you will return to an addiction. I'm flat out not saying that. Okay, just want to make that really, really clear. Now, with the eighth house being connected to the occult and things like astrology, tarot, mediumship, psychics, clairvoyance, and hypnotherapy, this can see you doing a deep dive into that. So maybe you are honing your own skills. Maybe you are practicing in this area. Maybe you are wanting to become more adept at, being a tarot reader or being an astrologer. Maybe you will be working with another person to help you in this department. So this is a time where you're going to be putting a lot of your energy and effort into these matters. It doesn't need to be all of them. It certainly will be some of them, I would imagine, for you. So in terms of the time frame, again, the Mars retrograde is from the end of October till the 12th of January, but we've got Mars in Gemini for 7 months, from 20th of August 2022 till 25th of March 2023. So your focus is on these areas, or at least on one or more of these areas, I would think. Again, this is a general reading, so take it any which way you will. And by the time you get out of the retrograde, so by the time we get to the 12th of January, or certainly towards the end of January and early February, as we're settling down with the post-shadow period, you can be really proud of yourself for what you've overcome during these weeks, during these months. So you could actually achieve a really big goal of yours, especially if this is connected to generating more wealth between you and your significant other, or working on, multiple streams of income, but it's connected to mutual resources. Maybe you're going to be giving yourself a pat on the back for all the progress that you've made with learning astrology, or teaching yourself tarot, or taking classes. With Mars being in Gemini, and Gemini ruling over education, this could certainly be you receiving some form of education in this department or in these areas, even if you are self-taught or taking classes. It just depends on your own personal situation. So I don't want to sugarcoat anything. With Mars being retrograde, this can be a challenging time. This is when we can feel like we're stretched thin. This is where we can feel like it is 2 steps forward and 1 step back, the retrograde being the 1 step back. But, Mars retrograde can see you just having to exert more willpower into whatever it is that you want to achieve. So I have no doubt that you guys will be able to achieve whatever you put your mind to during this period of time. Now, on the 8th of November, there will be a total lunar eclipse in Taurus in your 7th house, and it will be at 15 degrees and 59 minutes, nearly exactly conjunct Uranus, but not quite. And also, it will be opposite Mercury and Venus. So that means that the Sun will be conjunct Mercury and Venus in Scorpio in your 1st house. Mercury will be at 15 degrees, Venus will be at 20 degrees Scorpio. So no doubt all Scorpios will feel this to a certain extent. The ones who will feel it the most would be Scorpio Sun, Moon, and Risings at 15, 16 degrees. And if I were to extend that even further, 3 to 5 degrees. So maybe let's say the 2nd decan of Scorpio to be safe. So 10 to 20 degrees Scorpio. Nevertheless, you will feel the energy of it because you're Scorpios. And this is happening in your sister sign. I might add that we do have another eclipse on the 25th of October, which is 5 days from now. That one is in Scorpio. So that's 2 degrees Scorpio conjunct Venus on the 25th of October. What this means is that we are well and truly in the thick of eclipse season. So eclipse energy can see you feeling a bit restless, a bit anxious, having heightened emotions. So, your emotions can be all over the place. Your sleep patterns may be disturbed and all over the place. You may find it hard to get to sleep, stay asleep. You may feel a little bit fatigued or depleted energetically during this period of time. But by the same token, you may have a sense of excitement. You may feel like change is afoot and you're, really wanting this transformation to come through. So with a full moon eclipse occurring in your 7th house, by the way, this is a total lunar eclipse, not just a partial lunar eclipse. This indicates that there is some kind of big shift that is occurring with respect to your personal one-to-one relationships. Now, because we've got this new moon eclipse in Scorpio followed by this full moon eclipse in Taurus, and this is operating on the 1st and 7th house axes, this doesn't just indicate that some relationships may be breaking down, it also indicates that some new relationships may be forming. So it really just depends on you and your personal chart and your personal sense, your personal set of circumstances. But if we're talking about this eclipse being conjunct Uranus, this can indicate that we're breaking away from a contract, from a relationship, or from a connection. This does not mean that all Scorpios are going to break up with their significant others, so please do not worry. I'm not saying that. Some of you, of course, will be going through breakups, but it just depends on your personal chart. Now, for some of you, you may experience a falling out with a friend, or you and a business partner may be going your separate ways. For others of you, you could be quickly entering into a new relationship. The reason why I'm saying quickly is because of the conjunction to Uranus. So there's something unpredictable happening here. There's a swift, sudden change of circumstances. And so some people may be quickly exiting a relationship, as in, the breakdown of that happens quite unexpectedly or just unravels real quick. But then the same can be said for maybe you meet someone and then you're like, oh my God, I'm in love with this person. Then boom, you're in a relationship. And, all of this could even happen within 4 to 6 weeks, within this eclipse season. So on a different note, the seventh house is connected to contracts and contractual obligations. It's really the house of promises. So this could see you buying a property, selling a property, entering into a new rental agreement. Maybe your old tenants are moving out and you're getting new tenants moving in. Even if you had a property that was vacant for a while, it could be that new tenants come along and they're like, hey, can I move in within 2 weeks? And then you've got to, get things organized really quickly. So ultimately, what I'm trying to say here is that with the conjunction to Uranus, the full moon eclipse being like just minutes away from Uranus, there's a sense of urgency about timing and what is unpredictability, if not being able to be aware of the time in which something is going to happen. So there is like a swiftness to whatever is taking place here. For some of you, this could be an opportunity for you to sign a new contract, whether this is for property or for work, especially, given that you've got Leo ruling over the 10th house, and obviously we've got the sun involved in this full moon on a different level. This could indicate that there is sorry about that noise outside. This could indicate that some of you may be moving in with someone, and this could happen really quickly. Someone could be moving out. There could be an engagement, okay? This could be a surprise engagement or maybe even an elopement. So this is really about getting into something quickly or getting out of something quickly, which is connected to contracts, whether this is work or property, or something to do with relationships. So obviously there's so many different ways that this can play out for you. I just want to say though that in terms of the eclipse event, it doesn't necessarily need to take place on the 8th of November. This kind of stuff could be occurring around now, 3 to 4 weeks before an eclipse, 3 to 4 weeks after an eclipse. By the time we get to end of November, you will know what this eclipse is indicating for you. One thing that I have noticed though is that, just generally speaking, transits that involve Uranus seem to occur like pretty close to the time of the transit, maybe even before, because Uranus represents anything that's premature. So I actually think that whatever eclipse event is going to be coming through for you, it will arrive, by the time you get to the 8th of November, if not just a few days after. But, I just want to safeguard myself and give you that 3 to 4 week window of time. Just to give you an example, I can already see things playing out in my husband's life that are very eclipsy, and exciting and positive, I might add. And I'm like, oh, looks like this is, coming through before the eclipse. So let's just take a look now at the 16th of November. So Venus is going to enter the sign of Sagittarius on the 16th of November in your second house, and it will be there till the 10th of December the 10th of December. So with Venus being in your second house, first of all, let me backtrack and say Venus will be in Scorpio up till then. So for the first half of November, yay, you can be feeling more attractive, feeling more beautiful. You can be feeling more creative, and like people are very receptive to your energy. Also, I just want to quickly say that Venus being with the Sun and Mercury in Scorpio during the eclipses, I feel like this is somehow very beneficial for you. It's like a barrier of not necessarily protection, but it's like it's bringing through a blessing. Okay, even if it's a hidden blessing, Venus is bringing you a blessing. So I just want to, let you guys know that. So on the 16th of November through till the 10th of December, we've got Venus in Sagittarius in your second house. Yay, it's in your money house. It's the planet of money in the money house. So this can see your financial situation improving. You can come into a bit of money. If that is not the case, at the very least, you may be feeling very indulgent. You could be enjoying self care, enjoying the five senses. So, whether this is spending a bit of money on shopping, treating yourself, eating out, getting a massage, getting your hair done, your nails done. I'm a Taurus, so, I'm all about self care. So, you could be treating yourself and feeling really good about this. Venus in your second house can see you feeling like you're worth it, knowing your sense of self-worth, knowing your value. Some of you may be coming into a valuable or a possession which you really love or that's very beautiful, or it could even have some kind of sentimental value for you. And with Venus ruling over your seventh house, this could be a gift that someone is giving you. Now, on a different note, this can see you just focusing on relaxing more, if nothing else. Or maybe you are enjoying time cooking or spent in nature, spent in the garden, and you could be feeling very creative around this period of time. Okay, now, on the 19th of November, Mars will make a square to Neptune. So Mars will be retrograde in Gemini in your eighth house, which is your ruling planet once again, and it will be squaring Neptune in Pisces in your fifth house at 22 degrees. So we are going to experience this square 3 times. We already experienced it 8 days ago on the 12th of October. And I have to be honest with you, I didn't even notice it, other than being very jet lagged, extremely jet lagged and very fatigued. And I am a Gemini rising and a Virgo moon. So, just throwing that out there, that this square, it's very Neptunian to not even notice a Neptune transit. Having said that, on a world level, yes, we are seeing world events play out with the square, but when it comes to a personal level, it just depends on what's being activated in your personal chart. So the third and final time that this square will take place will be on the 14th of March in 2023. Now, with Neptune being in your fifth house and the fifth house being connected to creativity, romance, dating, children, fun, leisure, etc., and the square aspect representing a challenge or something being a bit difficult for us, especially because it's your ruling planet, you may feel like you're struggling to connect emotionally with your lover around this time or with your children. It doesn't mean that there is necessarily something wrong necessarily or anything to freak out about. It could just be around this period of time, plus or minus a few days, or even, maybe a week max. I just want to say that unlike Uranus transits, Neptune transits, I don't feel them on the day. And it's so Neptunian to be late and be confusing as a transit. Nevertheless, this can see you feeling like you're afraid to express yourself creatively. Maybe you're afraid of what other people are going to think if you, pour your heart out either in a performance, or if you're, creating content for your social media platform, if you're writing a book, there can just be this trepidation surround, writing a tell-all or wearing your heart on your sleeve, which is not super Scorpio-ish as it is. So for some of you, you may just be feeling kind of blocked creatively around this period of time. So with that being said, if you are an artist or a creative type or even an athlete, because the fifth house represents sports and so does Mars, your energy is just not going to be there. And I don't want to project that onto you, okay? If you feel amazing on that day, good for you. If not, don't despair, because it's the transit. Wait a few days, try again to write that book. Wait a few days, then hit the gym. Don't feel disheartened, or try not to feel disheartened if you just can't get the energy levels up, or even feel excited about something that you thought you would feel excited about. So this can see you feeling like you can't connect to that passion that you once had for something that you've always loved. And there can certainly be some confusion about your romantic life or your sex life or about your partner. Okay, so the fifth house is connected to romance and dating. I would not say that this would pertain to people who are in like a really serious long-term relationship, whether this is someone you've moved in with, someone you've got kids with, or your spouse. This is more like if it's still early days, a few months in, you haven't combined resources or what have you, this is more fifth house territory. So there could be miscommunications within that relationship, miscommunications with your child, with your children, and just really not seeing eye to eye, but just wait a few days or a week and then try again. I mean, it's a general reading, but if you're thinking about breaking up with someone or making a really, really important decision or a permanent decision, whether this is about the direction to take your business, closing your business, or what to do with your children or your relationship with them or your relationship with your lover, this is where there can be confusion, with Neptune not allowing you to really think clearly or see the situation clearly. So just wait until you take action. But of course, do whatever you like. It's your life. So now let's have a look at the new moon in Sagittarius. So on the 23rd or the 24th of November, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon in Sagittarius in your second house at 1 degrees, and it will be conjunct Venus and Mercury. So new moons indicate a new chapter taking place, starting something new, planting the seeds, so to speak. So with the second house ruling over your finances, this could see you planting the seeds to generate a new stream of income. Maybe you're looking at ways that you can earn more money or different ways that you can earn money altogether. Now, because this new moon is conjunct Venus, which rules over your seventh house of relationships, and it's also conjunct Mercury, which is connected to co-workers and working in groups. This could see you working with another person, maybe in a business capacity, business partnership, business relationship, or with your significant other to for you to earn more money or generate this new stream of income. Because it's taking place in your second house, this is about what you are doing with your own personal finances and how you are earning that money. So you may receive advice from another person, but ultimately the effort is still coming from you. Now, this can see you simply setting the intention to achieve a financial goal or a material goal by a certain point in time. Maybe you are deciding that you want to earn a certain amount by the time next year in 2023, or maybe you want to make a certain number of sales by the time we get to the end of this year. Maybe you are saving up for a car or for an expensive purchase, or maybe you're squirreling money away just to be able to afford these things when you want to. You could be opening up a new bank account, especially because this is a new moon in Sagittarius at 1 degrees, which is the Aries degree. This indicates to me that you're pioneering something new, you're trying something new. So some of you could actually be spending money and investing in a long-term goal or dream of yours. And I'm saying this because the new moon is conjunct Mercury, and Mercury rules over your 11th house, which is Virgo. Some of you may be setting a goal when it comes to your diet. Now, I'm not saying, go on a juice diet or anything like that. It's literally like maybe you want to be a vegetarian, maybe you want to be vegan, maybe you're trying to cut out dairy or reduce your sugar intake, whatever it is. You could be setting some pretty clear goals while we've got this new moon energy, which will be with you for, a couple of weeks before and after the new moon. Pro tip, I like to write down my intentions with the new moon more so than the full moon. And I don't really write intentions with the full moon at all. So I like to do this, maybe 12 hours to 72 hours after the new moon. So after it started to grow a little bit, but, do whatever you like, of course. And lastly, the second house is connected to your values and your sense of self-worth. So you could be writing down your intentions to show yourself more self-love, treat yourself better, invest in self-care, and, work hard to feel like you're worthy and deserving of receiving whatever kind of income it is that you want to receive, or whatever kind of material goal it is that you want to achieve. And then just lastly for this month, a few minutes after the new moon, Jupiter will be stationing direct in Pisces in your 5th house. So this can see you feeling more creative once again. And so, Scorpio, that's all I have for you for November 2022. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy your month ahead, Scorpio, and also just keep an eye out on the website for when I release my 2023 yearly horoscopes. Each horoscope is approximately 2 hours in length, so they will be available for purchase by the time I film my December videos. Enjoy November, and I'll see you guys in December.